All right, let's talk about something that is, without a doubt, one of the most overlooked, yet absolutely critical responsibilities in engineering: letting systems go. And right off the bat, I want to be clear, this isn't about failure, not at all. It's about the final, and you could argue the most important act of successful ownership.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Where does all the energy, all the excitement in our industry go? It's all focused on the beginning, right? The big launch party, the press release, those hockey stick growth charts we all love. We celebrate creation, we celebrate building the new shiny thing and scaling it to the moon.
But what happens when a system has done its job, when it's served its purpose, and it's time to move on? See, this is the part of the life cycle we almost never talk about, and we definitely don't plan for it. And that silence, well, it has a pretty significant cost.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the culture that makes this whole topic so difficult. Then we'll dive into the real, tangible costs of just not doing anything. And after that, we'll lay out a clear strategy for handling endings gracefully, both from a human and, of course, a technical point of view. Okay, let's get right to the heart of the problem. I like to call it the cult of creation. This is basically the cultural air we all breathe in the tech world, and it is almost completely centered on beginnings.
The entire incentive structure, everything is built around what's new. Promotions, bonuses, that industry fame, it's all tied to building and launching. Let's be honest, nobody gets a big award for successfully and quietly shutting down a legacy service, even if doing that saves the company millions and gets rid of incredible risk. So this conditions us, right from the start, to see endings as an afterthought, if we even see them at all. So that culture of creation thing, it leads us right into our next big challenge. Because if the culture makes endings basically invisible, our own human nature makes them painful. There's some deep, really personal reasons why letting go of a system is just so difficult. A system isn't just a bunch of files in a repository. It often becomes a part of an engineer's identity. That code represents countless hours of effort, all those clever solutions you came up with, in a real sense of personal pride. Teams build these incredibly strong bonds around the systems they maintain. So when someone comes along and suggests turning it off, it doesn't just feel like some technical decision. It can feel like a personal rejection. It feels like they're telling you all your hard work doesn't matter anymore. It just feels like failure. And this really gets to the core conflict, doesn't it? The emotional and personal investment we pour into our work can easily outlast the system's actual technical or business value. And just acknowledging that this is a real thing, is the first step to making better, more rational decisions. So, what do? We avoid the hard conversation. We kick the can down the road. But at what point should a system actually end? Well, it's when its maintenance cost is way bigger than the value it provides, or when its risk is growing faster than its benefit, or, and this is a big one, when the knowledge needed to actually run it has just faded away. Inaction is not free. The cost of not letting go is often way higher than the cost of a planned shutdown. And what does that cost look like in the real world? Oh, it looks like zombie infrastructure. Servers running some forgotten code that literally no one understands. It's unpatched security holes and ancient libraries just sitting there waiting to be exploited. For new engineers joining the team, it's this massive cognitive overload trying to understand all these ghost systems. And for everyone, it's just this operational drag that slows everything down because every new feature has to tiptoe around the old, brittle legacy code. And this reveals this wild paradox. The more we neglect a legacy system, the more feared and powerful it becomes. It gets to a point where people are just too scared to even investigate it, which, of course, just makes it more entrenched and more dangerous. It is a truly vicious cycle. Okay, so we've defined the problem pretty clearly. So what's the solution? Well, it's not about being ruthless. It's about being responsible. The solution is to treat the end of a system's life with the same care and planning that we give its beginning. Let's talk about what a healthy ending actually looks like. And when you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day. A healthy ending is planned way in advance. It's communicated clearly and often to everyone who's involved. That means internal teams and external users. You try to build in reversibility where you can, and you always provide clear, supported migration paths. An unhealthy ending, it's the total opposite. A sudden, silent, forced shutdown where everyone is caught off guard and immediately starts looking for someone to blame. This is such a crucial point. Treating a system with dignity at the end of its life does two things. It honors the incredible work that went into creating it, and it respects the users who relied on it. Honestly, it's a mark of professional maturity. And the stakes here are incredibly high. A badly handled shutdown isn't just some technical mess, it breaks trust. It burns out the very teams you rely on most. It creates this lasting resentment that can poison a culture. When you force people to abandon their work without a plan, you don't just lose code, you lose invaluable institutional memory. Because how a system ends, that becomes part of its legacy forever. So this all leads to a much more proactive way of thinking. The easiest way to have a graceful ending is to actually plan for it from the very beginning. So let's explore some architectural principles for building systems that can, actually be retired safely one day. Now, these are just fundamental principles of good design, right? But let's look at them through the specific lens of a future shutdown. Clear boundaries and minimal coupling, that means you can surgically remove one service without causing a total cascade failure. Documenting your assumptions, that helps the poor future team understand why you made certain choices. And crucially, supporting data export and avoiding lock-in, that respects your users and gives them a way out. So what does this actually look like out in the wild? Well, it looks like clear API deprecation schedules that give developers a year or more to migrate. It looks like giving your users robust tools to export their own data. Sometimes it means shifting a service into a long-term read-only mode. All of these actions preserve trust, they preserve knowledge, and they preserve the overall health of your organization. Now, this is a really powerful piece of engineering wisdom. The ability to safely decommission a system is the ultimate test of whether you truly understand and control it. Think about it. If you can't turn it off, you don't own it. It owns you. And this brings everything right back to us, to the engineers. We have to reframe this entire process. Sunsetting a system is not an admission of failure. It is the final, essential act of responsible ownership. So what does it really mean to let go? It means accepting that the things we build are not permanent. It means prioritizing the well-being of our users and our teammates over our own attachment to a piece of code. It's about choosing a clear, simple future over a complex, nostalgic past. It's about closing a chapter with intention so you can start the next one on solid ground. And this is maybe the biggest shift in thinking we need to make. An ending doesn't erase the value that a system created. It doesn't delete all that hard work. What it does is mark the successful completion of its lifecycle. The system did its job, and now its work is done. And that, right there, is a form of success. Ultimately, engineering is not just about beginnings. It's about managing the entire lifecycle, and that includes the end. Letting a system go is not giving up. It is the final act of honoring its purpose, and it is the most responsible way to make space for whatever comes next.